It is the Resistance Report for December 18th, 2017, where we give you the big picture. Today, Fox News. Speaking of big pictures, Fox News, Donald Trump's personal propaganda machine, is escalating its attack against Special Counsel Robert Mueller. So the question is, will Trump use the congressional recess that's coming up very shortly to fire Mueller and rely on Fox News to give him cover? Saturday night, Fox suggested that the Mueller probe might be a coup in America. Fox News host Jesse Watters had this to say about the investigation into Trump's campaign.
So the investigation into Donald Trump's campaign has been crooked from the jump. But the scary part is we may now have proof the investigation was weaponized to destroy his presidency for partisan political purposes and to disenfranchise millions of American voters.
When Trump counselor Kellyanne Conway spoke to Watters, a chyron appeared on the screen with the words, "A coup in America?" ? Another Fox personality stated that we now have a smoking gun evidence of an alleged FBI coup against Trump and millions of American voters who backed him. Fox's Jeanine Pirro suggested it might be time to drag away Trump's investigators in cuffs. A coup against Donald Trump? Listen, when Richard Nixon fired Watergate Special Prosecutor Archibald Cox during the Saturday Night Massacre, Nixon did not have anything like Trump's Fox News propaganda machine behind him. But Nixon went ahead anyway with the firing. Soon, with Fox News giving him cover and with Congress on recess, Trump may feel it is time, his opportunity to do the deed. So what can you do? Now, so far, more than 100,000 Americans have signed up to participate in more than 500 protests in all 50 states that would occur within hours of any attempt by Trump to fire Mueller and or interfere with Mueller's criminal investigation into Trump campaign collusion. It's called TrumpIsNotAboveTheLaw.org. Trump is not, this is all one word, above the law, this is important, .org. All one word, TrumpIsNotAboveTheLaw.org. Now, it's not organized by any individual group. It's instead a collaborative effort. Dozens of organizations from across the political and ideological spectrum are behind this. This is important. Now, Fox News is Trump's propaganda machine. The new American oligarchs are his finance machine. And this week, they are likely to get what they have been wanting all along, a huge, gigantic tax cut. The leaders of the Koch brothers political network are urging swift approval. And they will be voting, Congress will be voting tomorrow and also Wednesday, adding that the time, and this is the Koch network, saying that the time has come to put more money in the pockets of American families. Please. The Koch network doesn't care a fig about the pockets of American families. It cares about the pockets of the Koch network and other oligarchs. Polls show only about a third of Americans favor the tax plan. The vast majority of Americans, they know it's heavily skewed to the rich and big business. But why is it happening? It's been happening because it's payback for the biggest Republican donors. Representative Chris Collins, Republican, even admitted, he said, quote, "My donors are basically saying, get it done or don't ever call me again." Senator Lindsey Graham warns Republicans that if they fail to pass the tax plan, quote, "the financial contributions will stop," unquote. When this tax plan is enacted, Republican donors will save billions, paying a lower top tax rate, doubling the amount their heirs can receive tax-free, treating themselves as pass-through businesses, able to deduct 20% of their income. By the way, effectively allowing Donald Trump to cut his tax rate in half if and when he pays taxes. They'll make billions more as their stock portfolios soar because corporate taxes are slashed, meaning larger profits. Oh, and then there's the last-minute addition of a measure that would benefit Americans with large amounts of real estate income, like Senator Bob Corker, who mysteriously changed his vote on the bill to a yes after that provision went in. Oh, and it's going to help every other major real estate mogul, like, just to take one example, Donald Trump and his son, Jared Kushner. All told, the biggest winners by far will be the American oligarchs. Multi-billionaires like Trump and the Koch brothers, Peter Thiel, the Silicon Valley investor, Sheldon Adelson, the Las Vegas casino magnate, Woody Johnson, owner of the New York Jets football team and heir to the Johnson & Johnson fortune, Carl Icahn, the activist investor, the Mercers, you know their names, there are others. They've poured hundreds of millions into the GOP and Trump. Look, these people are not just the richest 1%. They're the richest 1/10 of 1%. 1/10 of 1%. That's right, the richest 1/10 of 1%. They own almost as much wealth in America today as the bottom 90% put together. And do you know what they do with that wealth? What do they do with that wealth? They put it into campaigns. The bottom 9/10 of 1%, that's just the people just below them, they own just about the same slice of national wealth as they owned a generation ago. The real amassing of wealth has been at the top of the top 1%. The top 1/10 of 1%. This is the new American oligarchy, folks. And these oligarchies use their wealth for politics. They accounted for about 40% of all contributions in the 2016 election. Follow the money. Follow the money. The giant tax cut has been their core demand from the start because they wanted to make out like bandits. They also want to slash regulations, repeal the Affordable Care Act, cut everything else government does, except for defense, including Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. Now, Trump is fulfilling his end of the bargain. He's blinded much of his white working class base to the reality of what's actually happening through his racist, xenophobic rants and policies, while at the same time his propaganda arm, Fox News, feeds them nonstop lies about, for example, Mueller's investigation of Trump. Fox News warns of a coup. It's an interesting use of the word coup. Coup d'etat. Well, let me tell you something. This is the real coup. The oligarchs, the tax cut, Donald Trump, and Fox News. The American oligarchs could not care less about what all this will cost America. Within their gated estates and private jets, they are well insulated from the hatefulness and divisiveness. They don't worry about whether Social Security or Medicare is going to be there for them in their retirement because they put away huge fortunes. Climate change doesn't concern them because their estates are fully insured against hurricanes and floods and wildfires. They don't care about public schools because their families don't attend public schools. They don't care about public transportation because they don't use it. They don't care about the poor because they don't see them. They don't worry about the rising budget deficit because they, you see, borrow directly from global capital markets. Truth to tell, the oligarchs don't even care that much about America because their personal and financial interests are global. They're living in their own separate society. They want Congress and the president to represent them, not the rest of us. The Republican Party is their vehicle. Fox News is their voice. Trump is their champion. The new tax plan, assuming it goes through this week, and it looks like it will, that new tax plan is their triumph. But if polls showing most Americans against that tax cut are any guide, that triumph may be short-lived. Americans are catching on. The recent electoral results in Virginia and Alabama offer further evidence. Mueller's investigation of Trump may soon reveal the Trump's deal with the Russians to sway the election his way, or Trump will fire Mueller. Either way, regardless, a tidal wave of public loathing is growing across the land. Loathing toward Trump, the GOP, and the oligarchs they serve, and to the deception, the wealth, the power that underlies all of this. Hopefully, this wave will crash next November 6th in the 2018 midterm elections. If so, the current triumph of the oligarchs will be the start of their undoing. And now for your questions. This is from Gary Bordness. Gary says, or asks, what do you suggest is the best way to organize, unite, and act before they can do any more damage? Gary, I think the thing to do is to join right away with groups that are getting ready for a possible firing of Mueller. And also, beyond that, I want to just remind you of a couple of groups that I work with and you might work with. Just look them up. indivisibleguide.com, also swingleft.org, and you have a couple of others here, sisterdistrict.com, and also runforsomething.net. These organizations are very helpful. They will be helpful to you. And Michael Plotnick, Michael, you ask, how can Republicans pass this tax bill under reconciliation, which is about more than the budget and it affects so many aspects of policy? Well, Michael, Republicans are able to do this under reconciliation, which means they don't need a single Democrat in the Senate, because they've put a lid of $1.5 trillion on the cost of all of this, and they have, through smoke and mirrors, created at least enough magic asterisks. You know what I mean by magic asterisks? I mean mathematical attempts to pull the wool over everyone's eyes so that they are creating the impression it's not going to be more than $1.5 trillion. It is, but they get it through that way anyway. Leslie Yannett. Leslie asks, what's the next step after the FCC decided to end net neutrality? What can we do as American citizens to stop the overturn of net neutrality? Leslie, this is going to go to the federal courts. I'm absolutely sure of it. And you can certainly be active in terms of supporting. I mean, you can't be involved in that direct lawsuit, but you can be active in supporting it. And then hopefully in 2018, when the Democrats take back the House and maybe possibly even the Senate, this net neutrality overturn can itself be overturned. James Tate, you're from North Carolina, James, from Tryon, North Carolina. Is there any explanation as to why so many people vote against their own interests? Seems to me that over half of Trump's supporters will be seriously harmed by his agenda. Well, James, part of it is the lies, is the Fox News lies, the Trump lies. Part of it is the attempt to stir up a lot of hatefulness, and the hatefulness against Muslims and against African Americans and against and immigrants, and that to some of Trump's supporters seems more important than the fact that they are going to take the brunt of the harm of this tax cut. And finally, we have from well, I think that's it. I actually have ended all of them. I thought I had one more. Listen, I want to thank Shada Azamian, Andrew Santana, Jacob Kornbluth, and please don't forget to watch our new documentary, Saving Capitalism, that is streaming now on Netflix. Let me extend to you best wishes for the holidays. We're going to be picking up again in January, and also best wishes for a much better 2018 than 2017 was.